Schuster Audio presents A Good Life, Newspaperman and Other Adventures, written and read by Ben Bradlee.
When I was a child, we had to read books in French at home, and I remember one called Les Memoirs d'un âne, the Memoirs of an Ass or Donkey. Except for that, I've always thought of memoirs as the province of presidents and prime ministers, explorers and four-star generals, plus maybe a secretary of state or two, or a literary lion. It seemed a bit cheeky for a newspaperman to run with such a crowd, especially a newspaperman trained to stay off the stage and keep himself and his feelings out of the story, and especially a native Bostonian newspaperman trained from birth not to talk about family, money, or sex. But this is a memoir, pure and simple. Memories of the events that have left their mark on me. It's nowhere near a collection of my thoughts on the state of journalism or on the proper relationship between the press and public policy. I'm still collecting them, still changing my mind. I dared try my hand at a memoir only when I began to understand that I really had been dealt an awfully good hand by the powers that be. A hand that gave me a ringside seat at some of the century's most vital moments. A hand that allowed me to make an adventure out of the Depression, illness, and war, and a romance out of newspapering. It's called A Good Life because that's what I've had, and because when I was desperate for a title, David Halberstam said to me casually, "You've had a good life, Bradlee. Hey, why not call it that? A good life." I've thought hard about the role of luck in my life and come to the simple conclusion that I have been wonderfully lucky. To survive polio, to survive more than 3 years on a destroyer in the Pacific War from Guadalcanal to Japan, to land a job on the Washington Post after skipping an interview with the Baltimore Sun only because it was raining so hard when my train stopped in Baltimore first. To buy a house in Georgetown a few months before Senator and Mrs. John F. Kennedy bought a house only a few doors away. To find the emerging Katharine Graham looking for an editor at the precise moment when the Post was ready to fly. And most important, to find the most extraordinary collection of newspaper types eager to sign up for the flight. It would be ungrateful of me not to pause here to acknowledge the role of Richard Milhous Nixon in furthering my career. It's wonderfully ironic.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?